Louis, October 26th at Eagle Heights Church in Revere.
You're listening to The Car Doctor.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program on AM 950 WROL, the Spirit of Boston. Remember, you can always check out WROL's website, WROLradio.com, where we stream as well as any of the other various sources you can get streaming radio. We're there. And if you really want to see what I look like, and I don't know why you ever would, you can go to Ustream.tv and go to the Car Doctor Radio, and you'll find us, and you'll find out what's going on in the studio. But with us on the phone is Jean Jennings. Jean Jennings is the editor of Automobile Magazine, and she started up a new website, and I believe in some frame or another, she's Ezra Dyer's boss. Is that true, Jean?
No one's Ezra Dyer's boss.
Yeah, it's funny. Ezra lived within walking distance of the radio station. I could never get him on here, and he moves down to North Carolina, and he's easy to get on the radio. So
you can't hang up on him, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Well, welcome to the Car Doctor show here in Boston, and tell our audience a little about you. Other than I understand you have a collection of like 10,000 hats.
That's hilarious. Well, thanks for having me on. First of all, it's pretty exciting. It's very cool. I wish I was in Boston right now, unless it's colder than it is in Michigan.
It's 30.
It's 30. It is colder. Never mind. I'm staying right here in the farm next to my big roaring fire, surrounded by dogs. And if you've seen the website, you can see what I look like in an embarrassing number of photos. So jeannknowscars.com was started because I was sitting with the chairman of the company, Source Interlink Media, which owns a whole lot of car magazines, including Automobile and Motor Trend and Hot Rod and on and on and on. And he said, Jean, you know, my wife said we don't have anything for women. And I said, and he said, do you know any women who write about cars? Which I found pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I said, well, as a matter of fact, I do. All my life, I have been surrounded by men. I have 5 brothers. I lived in the country. I learned how to drive when I was 14 so I could escape faster. Yeah, I left home when I was 16, bought a taxi cab, actually bought a car, turned it into a taxi cab, became a mechanic at the Chrysler Test Track out in Chelsea, Michigan, although I never fixed anything. I was in the impact lab, so all I did was smash cars into walls. But, you know, men, you feel this? This is where it's going. And I did a newsletter there for the guys in the shop. When I got laid off, I was hired by David E. Davis at Car and Driver magazine because he thought it would be hilarious. He thought it would really mess with the guys that worked there. And once I got in that door, I thought I'd gone to heaven, absolutely gone to heaven. I hung on with both my hands, and, you know, here I am, literally 32 years later. 32 years later, so 5 years into Car and Driver, David, he asked me to go with him to start Automobile Magazine, and I became the editor in 2000. So I've been at it from the mechanic side, from, you know, I did all my own work on the cab, from the heavy tools side, which would be crashing cars, you know, not fix anything, but using bandsaws and fork trucks and giant socket wrenches. I mean, literally, those giant socket wrenches that are longer than your arm, with sockets that, you know, you have to use them without gloves, because if you smash your hand, you need to see. You need to see. Because there'll be a smashed flat finger, and you'll need emergency attention. So I did all that, and writing about it was a whole nother ball game, because I only knew Dodges. You know, that was my cab, and that was Chrysler Proving Ground. So walking into Car and Driver was a big eye-opener. Suddenly, I had to be a journalist, and I had to learn about cars. And I will say that 30 years later, I did not get to where I am today by writing scintillating car reviews and knowing everything there is to know about cars, despite the name of my website. I really got there because I have big adventures. I love having adventures. I love the people in the business. I love where cars will take me. And So I've been like I suppose, a keen observer of humanity from behind the wheel of a car. And I know a lot more about cars than the average walking around person. I don't want to, really pretend I don't know anything, but I probably know as much about hats as you get to made. I probably know as much about perennial flowers, and I have a fairly well-rounded life. So I like to take that. I've been wanting a long time to take that kind of 360-degree person to back to where I was 10 years ago when I did all the car stuff for Good Morning America, as a translator of the things that enthusiasts love about cars. I want to take out all the mystery, leave in all the passion. I want people to love cars as much as I do. People that don't know the secret car guy handshake or vocabulary. So that's why we started the website, and it is, there's just a lot of pieces to it. It's a fairly robust website out of the box. We've built it's not a blog site. It has it's a very responsive website, a lot of places for people to join in, comment, and out of the box we've had a big wave of attention from the audience out there. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I actually, when I first heard about it, thought it was going to be more the Jean Jennings journal of everything she's done in the past 30 years, but it is a lot more than that. It's a more of a variety of things. And now, certainly, like you said, you have done all kinds of things. You've met all kinds of people. Some of them good people, maybe some of them not.
That's for sure. In fact, before I write my autobiography, a few more people are going to have to die.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
And before anyone writes about me, I want to be dead too. I've had a really great life. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but I don't have any kids, so I have no age barometer in my mind.
Yeah, I'm in that same category. So.
Yeah, we're really young.
Yeah, you can be as young and as smart or foolish as you want to be.
Yeah, well, I'm all of that.
Yeah. So this kind of came about because of this, and it's not a sole effort. You have some coworkers that are on your website with Jean Knows Cars.
Let me just point out right at the top of the Jean Knows Cars masthead is Laura Sky Brown, a very familiar name to longtime readers of Automobile. She was Automobile Magazine's copy editor as of the third issue and was with us about 10 years and left to start a family. And she has a kid in college, twins in high school, and a 12-year-old. And she said to me when I asked her to come on as the executive editor, those kids need me out of this house. So she always was a brilliant copy editor and writer, and she's leading the team. We are still searching for a senior editor. We have an associate editor who's a graduate from BU, and she sent her resume to Automobile Magazine, and it found its way to me because we had another BU graduate on the staff, and he brought it in and he said, "You need to know this girl. I know who she is, and she's really something." So we called her and we checked her out, looked at her writing. She's just wonderful, wonderful person, Annie White. And the interview was hilarious. She loves cars. And I asked her, how do you love cars? Do you like the way they're designed? Do you like what's under the hood? Are you all about the performance? Do you like them because you can go places? What is it? Is it the speed? And she said, as a matter of fact, I'm on my way to pay a speeding ticket that's in my purse right now. And she said, I just love them. I'm the kind of person that, when we're walking down the street, I stop and take pictures of cars with my phone, and my girlfriend say, can we just keep going? So I laughed and said, now, how do you find out about cars? How have you been finding out? And she said, well, my dad's a journalist. And I looked down at her name on the resume, and as I said, who's your dad? I looked down, and I looked at Annie White, and I said, oh, my God, Joe White from the Wall Street Journal, the car guy from the Wall Street Journal. And she was and we gave her 50 points for not mentioning him. And I said, I can't believe he didn't call me. She said I had to hold him back. 50 more points for that.
There you go.
In any case, she really is a fabulous writer, very young, very fresh, and you'll see her name a lot. We also have a copy editor, Christina Lawson, out of the University of Michigan, and a whole roster of wonderful, well-known contributors. So I'm...
Great stuff. Tell me, what's the Car Seat Whisperers?
The Car Seat Whisperers is, there's a car clinic in Michigan, in the state of Michigan. I don't know if it's in other states, but a group of people, volunteers, became certified to have car clinics around the state, and we just went to one, and they were fantastic. They're the people who, you come in and bring a car seat. They show you if you're putting it in incorrectly, how you correctly install it, because the vast number of car seats are not installed properly, and therefore dangerous to the kid riding.
And why I asked, that's something kind of near and dear to me. I'm a child passenger safety instructor, and, we try to go over and over with all the cops and firefighters and whoever that we teach that, you'll find out that nearly 90% of the seats you see are put in incorrectly. They're expired. They have some safety issue. And just like cars, car seats get recalled as well, and you have to watch out for that. So
it's a very serious concern to us. And as lighthearted as the site is, and as kind of, I'm a big proponent of humor in everything. The safety stuff we take seriously, and you'll also see on there we have a section called You Ought to Know, and the ones we just posted were about the government sites, safecar.com, which has and I did a little guide to that, and there's a Parent Central tab on that site, safecar.gov, not com, sorry, safecar.gov, and it has everything you need to know about car seats, all the way from car seats to teen safe driving. But in the car seat arena, it also has a guide to car clinics near you where you can find that out. So I just answered my own question more than just the state of Michigan.
Yeah, there you go. No, good stuff. And for people who want to learn about cars, you're doing video reviews on your website too, right?
Those are. I would think You Ought to Know probably is more informational than my video reviews, because those are 90-second to 2-minute. It's more what's in my driveway. I am actually walking outside my door and talking about cars on somewhere on my 100-plus acres of property, and sometimes a dog is running through. Sometimes I'm just focused on the entertainment center. Very, very short. The buyer's guide is certainly more complete. But, yeah, you can see me in a variety of outfits, make fun of what I'm wearing, look at the car, write in and tell me I'm full of it. But I would think You Ought to Know, and my weekly new show on the Tribune syndicate of TV stations at 9:30 is perhaps more informative across the vast arena of car information.
Do you ever get in a fight with, like, the sync systems or anything, or?
Yeah, of course, don't you?
So a video of you arguing with...
for no reason at all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
My biggest one right now is the new Cadillac touchpad screen. If you don't really learn how to use it before you drive the car, it is like texting and driving. And I am actually a huge proponent of the knob.
Yeah, so am I.
I like the knob.
Yeah, I think, and I said this to some designer one time. I said, a lot of people drive their cars and control everything else by braille. They feel around till they hit the button they want, and they use it. And as much as all this technology, you can put in things that vibrate and buzz and do all kinds of weird stuff, but people still need to take their eyes off the road, and at 60 miles an hour, you take your eyes off the road for a second, and you've gone almost 90 feet.
You're right. Driving, using your hand by braille, driving correctly, using your hand is the right way to do it, not using your eyes on those controls. And, I think that's what the government's looking at now as it approaches the legislation to control all of these systems in the car.
Absolutely.
They're going to go after this. They said they are. They're going to.
Yeah, I like to think that that people should have the common sense to be able to not do some of these things while they're driving, but I've learned as I'm getting older and older there isn't any common sense.
I personally have a lot of common sense and a lot of lapses of common sense. I literally have to put my phone in the trunk so I don't touch it. I hate to admit it, but I'm a human, and you know, I've written many columns about it. Hang up and drive. Next thing you know, I am banging off the median, talking on my phone. I drive like a drunk when I'm on my phone, and it is apparently much more dangerous than texting. Texting is no prize. So, you know, we're going after that hammer and tongs. We are really going after that. Very important.
No, I mean, a lot of old studies were that, you know, if you're on the phone, you're as dangerous as a drunk driver. The good thing is when you hang up, you become instantly sober, I guess. But but different than I mean, you're just taking your eyes off the road. And a lot of people try to argue with me that, well, it's no different than talking to a passenger in the car.
This is also very dangerous. It's dangerous eating. It's dangerous fiddling with your radio. It's dangerous fiddling with your infotainment system. They're correct. The difference is you don't have a passenger all the time. You don't eat for very long. You don't, and on the phone, you have a much more tendency to be, you have a bigger or longer, a stronger tendency. It's really early this morning.
I know. You're
stronger tendency to be on it for a longer period of time. That is the key piece of information there.
Right. And let's face it, I don't know about you, but when my wife's in the car, she's paying attention too, because she doesn't want to die with my driving habits.
Exactly. She'll slap you sideways.
So she smacks me in the head and says, "Didn't you see that?" You know.
Now, on the fun side, the third cornerstone of the website, and there's a lot of stuff in the middle, is the car confessions. You get to log on anonymously and confess your sins. We have a half a dozen hashtags, so you can categorize your sin, and then you can look at other people's sins and pass judgment. And I think that has been quite popular. We're getting a lot of, you know, we've only been up just about a week. And so we're getting a lot of play in the car confessions area. That could be a lot of fun.
I see how that could be. I will readily admit to, at one time in my life, owning a Renault car that was converted to electricity.
That you should be confessing that.
You
better go on there and confess that. See how many of your listeners out there go on and give you a forgiven. They'll pronounce you forgiven or call you a bad dog.
Most of my kind of co-workers here in the New England area that write about cars, they never let me forget that I, in fact, owned a electric Leopard.
You know, you guys up there, you New England journalists, are hilarious. I know many of your cohorts, and love to hang out up there, guys.
Well, anytime you want, we get together the second Tuesday of the month, and we hang out at a garage and tell stories and invite people up. And next month, I think we're having somebody from OnStar come up and tell us how apparently OnStar is less distractive than other stuff. So
ask them to explain to you why their General Motors is calling their system Q and not in wasting that great OnStar equity. That really is a great system. I think OnStar is fantastic. But it should be Q by OnStar. Ask them that. Why would they bury that lead? Why would they bury the story there?
I don't know. So we've talked about the website. We've talked about you. Before we let you go, how did Ezra get a job with you guys?
I'm trying to remember how.
What did he do?
It was because of his columns in the Improper Bostonian. I don't even talk like a Bostonite, but I'm sorry I had to mangle that with my Michigan accent. So his columns in the Improper Bostonian were so damn hilarious.
Yeah, he's such a great writer, and he's such a good guy, and the father of two now. So.
He's a dream. Yeah. He's an absolute dream. I was just with him last week for a few days, testing cars to choose our automobile of the year, and you know he is worth his weight in gold. He's so worth his weight in gold that I like to put his name on the cover whenever he has a story inside.
Yeah, he's
even if you don't know who he is,
yeah,
you wouldn't want to read a story by someone named Ezra.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and when I got to know him when he worked for the Improper and a few other places, and just his sense of humor is great, and just a good character that has crossed through my life. A nice guy to know, and I haven't seen him since the summer, but just a character all around, and just a fantastic writer.
Yeah, he's doing well, and I think he probably came to us through Jamie Kitman, who's our other columnist, and other, just real character. Both these guys have been super loyal and, real cornerstones of Automobile Magazine.
Yep. No, great stuff. Gene, the website again is jeannknowscars.com.
Thank you for the plug.
Certainly.
Love it. I want everybody to go on, have your way with it. Write to us.
Tweet it, Facebook it, do all that stuff.
We have everything. It's like out of the box. Mobile app, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. I don't understand Pinterest yet. Everything.
I'll ask Marita. She's a little young.
Instagram's my big one. I love Instagram. And don't forget to click on the tab, More About Gene, if you want to read about the dog.
And is there a picture of you being hosed off with a pressure washer?
That picture's kind of famous. That has not made its way onto the site yet, but, we have a lot of time and internet in front of us, don't we?
There you go. I finally decided the internet is not a fad after all.
Nice.
All right, Gene, thank you for taking some time out of your Saturday morning and joining us up here in Boston.
Oh, my God, I will. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Stay warm.
You as well. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Gene Jennings, editor-in-chief of Automobile Magazine and the pilot of the new website, jeannknowscars.com. We need to take another break. If you would like to join us, 617-770-3030, 617-770-3030. And if you want tickets to the 50-plus Expo that's taking place next week in Marlboro, all you have to do is call up and tell Marita, can I have tickets to the 50-plus Expo? She'll take down your name and address, and we'll mail them out to you. Or you can email me at jpaul@a